Hey friends, so I talk about loyalty a lot on this channel and in real life too. Maybe it's because I'm just a loyal person by nature. It's who I've always been. I've had the same friends in my circle for like almost 4 decades. I stick with people and things, sometimes for way longer than I really should, because I give the benefit of the doubt more often than I also probably should. I tend to do that with tangible things too, but in that case we call it consistency or being a creature of habit or whatever. On a personal level, I do this with people who I've shown time and time again that they are always on my side too, that I can consistently count on to be there, that I never have to worry about stabbing me in the back or selling me out or anything even remotely close. They know that I would never do that to them either. There's this respect there that is pretty damn unshakable. Have some people come and go from those circles throughout life and adulthood, etc.? Oh, absolutely. But the core remains, and that's a testimony to both of us, really. Them for being damn stellar people, and me for being smart enough to recognize how stellar they are and recognize true loyalty and true friendship and continuing to choose both in those people. With that said, as you become an adult, let's face it, it can be hard to make friends and even harder to make ones that you can truly trust and that you know have no hidden agenda or reason for why they hang around you. You know what I mean? So sometimes we make choices to go all in with people who in the end just let us down and disappoint us, who we learn either with words or with actions that they mean a lot more to us than we do to them. Sometimes it's not a direct learning experience. Sometimes it's secondhand information, and we want to discount it because of that, or because we want to be willfully blind to problematic people and their extremely problematic behavior because we like them, or we feel that there's more under the layers, and if we just keep trying, that better person will eventually be revealed. Basically, we are hoping that they will change. This type of expectation is one of the biggest ways that we absolutely break our own hearts by expecting us from others, by thinking that people will do right by you because you have done right by them, that people will unselfishly do things with us and for us because they truly care about us and not because they are hoping that there will be something in it for them. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that being around people who are phony and fake and who always have some ulterior motive for being your friend or whatever is not good for you in a variety of ways, because you already know that, for starters, but also because there are a lot of people who don't want to hear things like that, even when they're true, about someone they have close interpersonal relationships with. As humans, we always want to believe that we are excellent judges of character, that we always know what is best for us, that we can tell when someone is not good for us, and that we won't hesitate to walk away from them whenever it's necessary. I mean, when we have a friend who is in a bad situation in one of their relationships, isn't that the advice that we almost always give them? If I had $1 for every time I've heard someone tell a friend, "Get away from so-and-so, they are lying to you," or "So-and-so number 2 is just using you, you're better than that," even though they themselves, giving this sage advice, are in a relationship where the same thing is happening, well, I would have a lot of dollars. Hell, if I had $1 for every time I myself have said those things when I was in the same damn situation too, I'd have even more dollars. The point here is that we are so much better at being a friend or confidant to someone else than we are at being those things to ourselves, and that's absolutely not the way it should be. So what then? What are we supposed to look for? How do we know that someone is our real friend or someone worthy of trust or that deserves to be in a place of prominence in your life? Is there a test or a survey monkey or something that we can do? Help. Well, no. But here is a way that you can easily tell. Authenticity. Authentic people who are exactly who they say they are, 101% of the time. You don't ever have to wonder what their agenda is, because there isn't one. They love you, period. Not only when you're doing something for them, not only when they have nobody else to call to do an information dump, not only when you have a stroke of good fortune or there is some underlying hope that you will share it with them. I mean, who's more popular than the guy in the room who just found out he won the lotto yesterday, right? Anyway, people who are authentic don't have conditions on their love or their friendship, and that is priceless, especially in a world where people are just fake as hell and out for themselves, sadly, more than ever before. If you don't believe me, spend some time in traffic, or, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but read the comments in a news story where the topic of inclusion or diversity or treating people equally is being discussed. The amount of people who say, well, the things that are just damn gross and they should be ashamed of themselves for saying, really, is astounding. But others are like, why should they get anything when I have to, me? As if something isn't a problem or doesn't exist because you, random man or lady on the internet, have not seen, heard, or experienced it personally. Never have I seen people get so upset and offended and just plain nasty sometimes about things that don't affect them or their lives whatsoever, as I have in recent years. God forbid people who have been long marginalized get a damn break about anything at all, because there's going to be some hater immediately chiming in their 2 cents, though what they are saying is not even worth that much. And because this needs to be said right here in this spot, the people who do this, meaning they want people to suffer, they want people to have less rights and privileges than they do because they feel they are superior due to being religious, they can especially go F off. If that's what you think being religious is about, you're doing it absolutely wrong. I don't know what Jesus would do because I'm not him, but I'm pretty sure that being utterly awful to your fellow humans is not it. Just saying. And I'm going to leave that one right there. Moving on, here's the other thing. Besides authenticity, do you know another way you can easily tell who the real ones around you are? They fight for you in rooms you're not in. That means that they do not actively seek to hurt you, whether it be directly or simply by supporting things that will. They don't just fight for you in rooms you're not in, but they defend you in the doorway and behind the closed door and everywhere. They say, I love you, and they show you that they do with their actions. You don't have to wonder what side they're really on because you already know it's yours. When the chips are down and you need help collecting them, they show up to help you gather. Extra points if they show up with snacks. They're the same person in front of you and behind you, and when you aren't there at all. I could go on, but I think that the following says it best. It's something I saw years ago on the internet, and it really resonated with me. I'll explain why in a moment, but what it said was this. Life is kind of like a party. You invite a lot of people. Some leave early, some stay all night. Some laugh with you, some laugh at you. Some show up late. But in the end, after the fun, there are a few who stay to help you clean up the mess. And most of the time, they aren't even the ones who made the mess. If I was a person who takes bets, I'd bet you that the ones who stayed to clean up the mess, the ones who didn't make it in the first place, those are the same people who fight for you in those rooms you're not in. That makes knowing the truth about who they really are and where their loyalties lay a lot easier. Know what I mean? If you are lucky enough to have people like this in your life, hell, even if you have just one person like this, you are a lot more fortunate than you realize. And on a personal note, I am so, so blessed and lucky to have several people like that in my life. I brag about my friends often, and none of the reasons that I do have a single thing to do with me and everything to do with who they are. And honestly, it's because they deserve those props I give them. In times where things were very dark, those are the people who came over immediately to help me turn the light on again. Some of them have kept me company when I said I didn't want it, but they knew I needed it. I could go on, but I think you get the point. That's what real friends, real partners, real whatever they are to you, simply do. Friends, hold on to people like that tightly. They don't come around often. And perhaps more importantly, make sure you reciprocate the level of care that they give to you. Be there for them just as they have been there for you. In my wedding vows, I promised my wife that I would love her when life is easy, and that when life is hard, I would love her even more. That type of loyalty is something that is not just a driving force in our marriage, but it's something I carry into all my other relationships too, including my friendships. I'm not saying this to brag, but simply to drive home the point that loving someone, no matter what they are, a partner, a friend, whatever, means that you do it all of the time. Especially when they need it the most. Especially when you may not like them or you're mad at them. You still fight for them in rooms they aren't in anyway. That, friends, is authenticity at its finest. And it's also the right thing to do, which is an integral part of being a good human. And isn't that something we should all be striving to be? That's all I've got for you this week. I'll be back next week with another priority message. Until then, take good care of yourselves and each other. Bye.